Hi everybody, welcome to Silver Bunny Stitches. I'm Jenny and this is my flosstube channel, which is all about my stitching journey and occasionally a few other crafts that I do. Hi to anybody coming back, lovely to see you again, and hello to anybody who's new. I hope you like what you see and you come back and watch more of my videos. um, it has been longer than I was estimating from when I did my last floss tube. I was hoping it would be 3 weeks. I think it's more like a month, if not 5 weeks. Life, which I'll talk about in a minute, has just kind of got in the way and derailed everything. So I'll do a little bit of life first and then I'll go on to stitching stuff. So I think last time I'd spoken about the fact that we were going to go on holiday and my stitchy plans and things, and we did get away to Scotland. It was lovely to get away for a few days. We went to the Highland Wildlife Park and we saw polar bears, which I always love seeing, and we saw snow leopards, which was absolutely gorgeous. I love snow leopards. And the snow leopard's enclosure was like up the side of a cliff or a hill, so it had like stones and rocks. And the only time we saw him was he just jumped up onto this rock and he was just silhouetted by the sky, and he just lay down and just looked out across the whole valley, and oh, it was lovely. It was absolutely gorgeous. We went on Loch Ness and we looked for Nessie. My 5-year-old was very excited because he thought he saw Nessie, so that was all that counted, really. It wasn't the best journey for me, which I'll talk about in a bit, but part of it, I suffer from sciatica, and my body did not like the seats. Didn't like the seats outside, because they were sloping up slightly, so you kind of sat down into them. My back doesn't like that. And then the inside, they were too high for me. So I'm only 5'2", so my feet were like dangling off, and my back didn't like that either. So that wasn't the best day that we had. We also went to it's like a lake, a loch called Loch Morlich, and it's got sand, so it's a bit like a beach. So we went there. I've been going for 35 years now, and that is the busiest that I've ever seen that beach. Usually it's about 5 people, and when we went, it was packed. It was like a normal seaside sort of place with people absolutely everywhere. So that was fun. My son enjoyed it. We buried him, which is great fun. But so it was really hot on the beach. We had fantastic weather while we were there. It was sunny and hot every single day, which I've never known before, I think, for Scotland, for it to be nice every day. So we went to the beach, and then my dad said, oh, we'll just drive up to the Cairngorm Mountains, which is only a few miles away, maybe 4 or 5 miles in the car. And usually you can get a funicular, like a train that takes you up the mountain, but it's broken at the moment, and it's being repaired. They had all the diggers that were all the way up the side of the hill or the mountain, which is pretty awesome to see. But they also had some snow up there at like base camp, where they have the shop and sort of a restaurant and toilets and some of the things you can do. But they had some snow there, so it was so funny. We went from like lying on the beach to like 10 minutes later, my son playing in the snow. It's very bizarre. He was there for ages, though. We couldn't get him away. He absolutely loved it. And we went to the Highland Folk Museum, which is it's kind of all reconstructed, or buildings which have been moved, which are all historical. So it's things from like the 1800s, kind of going backwards in time. And it's actually where part of Outlander was filmed. Oh, we had the best fun there. We went to the Outlander kind of bit where it had been filmed. It was in season 1. It was where they gathered the taxes, and they had Claire kind of dyeing. Or was it? It wasn't dyeing the fabric, but they were using urine to kind of, I think, make the fabric hold hold whatever dye they were going to put on, or they had put on. And we got to see Claire's sulking bench, so where she sat and kind of sulked a bit when they were taking the taxis. But also my friend is absolutely obsessed with Outlander and Jamie, and she spent the whole holiday going, oh, find Jamie and bring him back for me. So we were up there, we were like pretending that he'd just gone out of photos. We were like, oh, look, there's Jamie. And she found that hilarious. Yeah, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I got Outlander inspired ring. If I move off screen, it might focus. No, it's not going to. It just wants to focus on my face. Oh, that's a bit better. No, anyway, it's thistles and kind of Celtic symbols, which I really loved. And I will now try to put up a few photos of the holiday. I'm hoping it's going to work. I managed to get some photos on last time, so I'll put them in now if I've got any up here or in front of me probably. And then we had some not so good stuff happen when we got back from holiday. Well, as I got back, it was the day after we'd got on holiday. My mother-in-law was looking after the rabbits. The dog had come with us, and she said my little Pepper bunny, she wasn't using the hind leg, and I was like, okay, so we'll make a vet's appointment. And my husband said, oh, I did not drop her, but she didn't go down as smooth as she should have done when he put her out a couple of days before. And we were like, oh, well, she's just strained something or injured something, because she's got arthritis and it's probably just, caused a slight flare up. So I was on Loch Ness. It was the worst time to have made the vet appointment for, but it was just when there was one available. So I'm on Loch Ness, and my mother-in-law's texting me saying the vet wants to do an x-ray on the bunny to have a look at its spine, and to see if it's dislocated its leg. And I was like, okay, brilliant, but is that going to tell us anything? Can we do anything with the end results? Are we going to be like, yeah, she's got a dislocated leg, but there's nothing we can do? Because she's 10 years and 9 months, so she's like 85 in people years, if not older. So she's very, very geriatric. And the vet phoned me on a boat. There's nowhere you can go to be private on a boat, especially because of COVID social distancing. There were people everywhere, kind of spread out, so there wasn't anywhere that I could go to have a private conversation about it. So we said we'd do an x-ray of her, which they managed to do with her conscious, because my bunnies are very tame, so they're very good at stuff. And it came back to say that she didn't have a dislocated, and they couldn't see anything on the x-ray that was untoward. Although it's not as good when they've not been sedated. If they've been sedated, then they're totally out of it, and they can get a really clear x-ray, but we didn't want to sedate it unless we had to because of her age. And she wasn't eating either, so we knew there was something wrong. So my mother-in-law had to be shown how to call it bunny burritoing. You get a towel and you kind of roll it around the bunny rabbit, and then you can hold them a bit like a baby, and syringe feed them with some critical care for rabbits, because if rabbits stop eating, the good bacteria in their stomach die, and then the bunny dies, because the bunny then can't digest its food properly. So it's very serious if rabbits stop eating. So she was doing that. My husband had to go home before us, so he went home and then he took over the care of the rabbit, and I got an emergency appointment with some exotic specialists, because apparently rabbits are still exotic, but they really are exotic. They do the wildlife at the local zoo, so like lions and tigers and stuff, so they are exotic. But so we took her in, and he had a look at her, and he said, I think there's something wrong with the teeth, but they can't see past the first couple of molars on a rabbit without sedating them. So then she had to go in and be sedated, and then they had to, they took some full x-rays because she would fit on one x-ray plate. They took an x-ray of her whole body so they could see what was going on with the spine. Basically, for whatever reason, her arthritis had flared up so badly that her knee just wouldn't straighten. She's had some bone growth over it, and he said it's not going to be causing her pain, but she's not going to be able to straighten it anymore, and it's too big an operation for us to do at her age to fix it. And he said she'd also got some spurs on her spine, which he said they get them at that age, and once they've kind of fully formed, they don't cause the bunny any problem. But during the formation, they can cause basically sciatica for the bunny. So I'm like, oh my God, I feel for this bunny because I have arthritis and I suffer from sciatica. And I was like, both of those things together are not pleasant. But also they found some spurs on her back teeth, which were digging into her tongue and causing tongue ulcers. So we thought, well, that's why she's not eating, because she's in pain with the teeth and probably the back. So we whacked her on painkillers. Well, she was already on painkillers for arthritis, which we knew she had slight arthritis, so she was on painkillers for that. So we whacked up a dose, sent her home. They were like, we'll see her back in a week. Any worries, give us a call. About 3 days later, she's still not eating. So I phoned up, eating voluntarily. And they were like, right, let's up a dose some more. So we got her on some other painkillers. Still not made any difference. So we went back again. At this point, we're clutching at straws. More painkillers. Didn't do anything. Ended up actually sedating her slightly, so she was very sleepy. So we reduced that down in the hope that it would work, and it didn't. So we actually had to put her to sleep 2 days ago. And it's hard. I know. I mean, the YouTube communities are fabulous, and you're all lovely people, but I know the people out there that'll be like, oh, she's a bunny. But she's been mine for 11 years almost. But I got to stay with her, which was lovely. I had her little friend Benson die. I had to have him put to sleep because he lost the use of both his back legs about a year ago, and I couldn't stay with him. I had to just leave him at the vet's, which was really hard. So it was nice I got to stay with her. But my usual bunny vet was back off because he'd had to go. He'd been away for an operation, and he said that she deteriorated even further, and she didn't have any feeling in one of her back legs, and it was beginning to go cold. So that wasn't good for her, and we just couldn't get her pain under control. And it's not fair to leave her in pain when you can't make it better. And she was getting flies laying eggs on her. And although we treated her with fly repellent stuff, it just didn't seem to be working. And if they hatch out, basically, they eat the rabbit from the outside in, and it is horrible. I've had it happen before to one of my other bunny rabbits, her sister, who we've still got, called Salt, and we were lucky we caught it in time. But I removed like 20 maggots that were eating her. It was vile, horrible. So that's been really hard because there's been a lot of intensive care of the bunny and a lot of changing bedding, spending hours combing through her fur to find these eggs and get rid of them. It was horrible. But I suffer from chronic pain from my arthritis and my sciatica, so it's been hard because there's so much of my energy which has been going on to her. So the house is an absolute tip. But my son's also, he's 5. You might have seen him on here, but he's also come down with really bad hay fever to the point where he has been almost taken out of lessons sometimes because he won't stop rubbing his eyes because they're so sore that the teachers actually like go away for a few minutes and play and then come back when you've stopped rubbing them. And it was so bad yesterday that the school phoned me and asked me to come pick him up. So we've got him on the over-the-counter medicines that we can have. we're doing all the things like not hanging his clothes on the washing line to dry so they don't get pollen on them. He's changing his clothes as soon as he gets home. We've got wipes, we've got lip balm on his nose. It just, when it flares up, it just doesn't seem to make any difference. And we've had to wait 2 weeks for a doctor's appointment for it, which, even in the height of the pandemic, I didn't have to wait more than 5 days to get a doctor's appointment. And this isn't a doctor's appointment. It's not a taking him in appointment. It's a phone call. So yeah, I've never had to wait anything like this with my doctors. They've always been fabulous. So I think there's a lot of people who haven't been contacted in the doctors when they should have been during COVID, because you don't have to go in. You can have it over the telephone conversation. But yeah, because I've asked for a phone call about my pain, and they've told me 3 weeks before I even get an appointment date. Luckily, I'm in with the pain clinic at the hospital, so they're able to see me a bit sooner. But yeah, it hasn't been a good few weeks. Anyway, things are hopefully getting a bit better now. Yeah. I'll go on to stitching now, and we'll leave life aside. But my mania plans went out of the window a bit. I'd been meaning to work on them on holiday, but the first few days I spent working on this. This isn't stitching, but it's a crochet blanket for my neighbour's new baby. And I was like, oh, I've got 3 days, and then my husband can take it back in the car, because we were going on the train, so we didn't have enough room to take it. I was like, I can get it finished, it'd be lovely. And then I realised that I'd read the pattern completely wrongly. I had to pull almost all of it apart and start it again. And it's taken forever, because I was like, oh, I'll just do one round on the edge. But every time you do a round on the edge, it gets bigger because you add more stitches in at the corners. So I've almost run out of yarn. So I'm just going to do one last stitch of the dark pink on the border to finish it off. And then I'm going to give it to her, because her baby is now 1 month old and still hasn't had the blanket, which I started when she was 3 weeks pregnant. Oh no, 3 weeks pregnant, 3 months pregnant. Yeah, so I just need to tie the ends in and then get that off to her. So that was my first 3 days. And then, obviously, I was worried about the bunny, but you know what? I was doing some stitching on these. I haven't really gone any further than when you saw them before, because I realised when I was stitching on with them that I wasn't enjoying it at all. So yeah, I'm gonna finish them off at some point, probably on the run up to Christmas, where I'm feeling like Christmassy stitching, but I'm not feeling it at the moment. And I'm like, I'm not gonna stitch something that, unless it's like a really important gift for somebody. I'm not stitching on something which doesn't bring me pleasure, because there's no point. It's the point of stitching is to make me feel good and to be a relaxing hobby, and if it's not doing either of those things, then why do it? So yeah, they'll go away. I was going to say, when it gets close to Christmas, I'll be like, oh, I want to do Christmas things, and then I can do them. But yeah, not at the moment. But with, where have I put it? I had a finished piece. Where has it gone? Who knows? I thought I was all organised. I'm going to check under the dog. Oh, you got a dog. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. She was making little grumbly noises. She's like, I hate you. You moved me. I was asleep. Right, it's not under you, dog. That's fine. I have finished. Where's my finish? Here it is. I was like, I thought I'd got everything organised. Because of Pepper Bunny being so ill, and I knew from about 5 days before she needs to put to sleep that was what was going to happen. But I have to try every avenue that I possibly can, regardless of how expensive it is. It was very expensive. Before I'll have an animal put to sleep if they're suffering. Because if they're suffering and you can make it better, and they can be not suffering, then that's okay. It's not okay for me if they're going to suffer forever and they're in a lot of pain. She was in a lot of pain. She was like grinding her teeth, and that's a sign that a bunny rabbit is He's not happy. Anyway, so I wanted to do some mindless stitching. So I stitched exclusively on Mickey. And I got him finished. So my son is very, very excited. He's on Kelp 16, just a plain white Ada. And he was from Cross Stitch Kingdom, I think, supplied the chart. I've thrown everything away, which is a bit stupid. But he's finished. He just needs a frame, probably a black one, I think. And then he can go into my son's room. I'm hoping maybe next week I might be able to get to the shop and do that. Projects I worked on. Oh, actually, I think I have a picture of what it looked like before I finished him. So if I do, I will insert it here. Look at me with all the technology. I also worked on my Lord of the Rings piece. I should have a picture of what it would look like in here somewhere. She says, I'm totally disorganised at the moment. No, no. I will insert a picture here of what it should look like when it's finished. And then I will insert another picture of where I was previously before I worked on it. I think it came up in some of the Magical Stitches homework, so I got quite a bit of it done. But this is where I am now. So I finished all the sky that way, and I have actually started Gandalf's hat and staff, which is pretty cool to get to. But there are a lot of fractionals apparently in the people, which I didn't realise. So I'm going to have to pay very careful attention because I've already had to unpick Gandalf once. So yeah, I'm going to work on that. So I worked on that one. I haven't really worked on many projects, partly because I was going on holiday. So I only took one project with me, which is this one, when I was on holiday. I think this is the one that I don't have a cover photo for because Joanne Jones didn't include one. But this one's coming on really nicely, actually. I think I spoke last time about, oh, this fabric isn't the colour it was supposed to be. Yeah, well, it wasn't the colour it was supposed to be because it wasn't the right fabric. No idea what I bought this for. But this is the fabric it should have been on. I had a moving of things in the kitchen the other day, and yeah, I found this, which one it was supposed to be on. Yay. So it's too far along now for me to stop. So yeah, that's how far I got. So yeah, it's looking good. Little pumpkins coming to life a bit. I was just starting to do some of the back stitching on the cat. I like to do back stitching as I go along. Totally forgot. Here is the picture of what it looked like before. We need to do that first and then show the picture. I'm very conscious of time because in about 5 minutes I have to run off and take some medicine into school for my son so that hopefully he can get through a whole school day without having to come home. So that's all I worked on. Let me just see here. I have some haul. This is from Chromatic Alchemy, and it is called Kione, which apparently was a nymph from Greek mythology who was to do with snow. I suspect it's kind of like snowy, wintry kind of colours. Going to do Halloween Quaker on this. Don't know when I'm starting it, but probably soonish because I did get the colours, the DMC for it. Also had some more haul. I'm part of KLT's Fabric of the Month Club. It's all gone a bit pear-shaped with COVID, and we're about 4 months behind where we should be. But this was February, which is a lovely colour. It was called Lust. And I got this one as well, which was called Resolution, which is March. what do you stitch on something like this? I have no idea. I got Fabric of the Month Club to challenge myself. What? I mean, if anybody has any ideas what you stitch on this, I have no idea. I mean, that you stitch something love related on. That you stitch something Halloween or like winter related on. That? I don't know. Any suggestions? Please pop them down there. That'd be very helpful because I don't know, this one's going away for now. It's a funky colour. Way out of my comfort zone. So that was a whole, oh, and I got this as well. Peter Rabbit needle minder. My son's middle name is Peter. And it's after my husband's granddad, so my son's great granddad, who was called Peter, but also I love Peter Rabbit. So for me, it was like double sweetness. He's got a very unusual first name of Davin, my son, so Davin. So we wanted to give him like a really sensible second name so that if he decides at any point in his life it's too much hassle for people to keep thinking he's saying David all the time, that he can change it to Peter without much problem. And then actually I do have a new start, which I should have put in with the rest of the stitching, but I'm panicking now because I've got like 5 minutes and I've got to go and do my medicine, which isn't just like taking the medicine bottle in. The only way that my son will have his medicine, because he doesn't like the taste of it, is in chocolate milk. So I have to heat the milk up in the microwave, put it into the bowl, put chocolate powder in, put the medicine in, get my ass down to my butt down to the school for 11:40 on the dot, so that he can have it on his way into lunch. Yeah, at least it's only one day, and then the doctor's phoning me because he's not in school tomorrow. It's a training day. So this is my new start. It's by Primitive Hair. It has been sat in my drawer for ages. I adored this pattern so much. I had it sent over from America. It only came in the hard format, so I couldn't get a digital sent to me. But I love that. I love Pride and Prejudice, and I've been looking for a sort of a pattern for it for ages. So that's how far I've got. I've got Darcy's Legs done. I only started it last night. And this one, Pikachu needle minder. It is on Tempest, which is even weave from Chromatic Alchemy. And yeah, it's really nice. I'm enjoying it. I'm not going to do the pattern exactly as it is because I think some of it doesn't stand out very well. On this one, the white, you can't see a lot of the white details. On this one, I didn't like the white couple, so I'm making them black. And yeah, they'll probably do everything else the same as on this one. Oh, and I should have said, this is linen. I don't know why I ordered linen. No idea. Don't really stitch on linen. Be fine though. Well, we'll work it out. And the other of my Adas is 16 count Ada. Yeah, I like it. It's easy. Right, I'm gonna have to run now. Literally run to be able to get to school in time. So I'm going to say bye. Thank you for watching, and hopefully it won't be quite so long before my next update. Bye.